Hey guys, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about a player prop that I have absolutely fallen in love with. Now, before we talk about that, let me just say that I'm actually one of the rare winning sports bettors. Because of that, DraftKings has decided to limit me, and that's what this looks like. So because of that, we did have to take our talents elsewhere, so there's a little bit of discrepancy in these two lines. Now, how I managed to beat these books were through player props because these markets are a little bit softer. At this point, player props are more like amenities, and sportsbooks just keep them around solely to bring people through the door so they can make money on them elsewhere. Even though the books are becoming defensive against the accounts, they're also becoming defensive with their lines. There was a time whenever you could just bet every single player's under and it would actually be profitable because books just didn't factor in injuries. However, now the books kind of price everything for it to be 15 games. So because the books have adjusted, I don't bet many player props. And when I do, I'm thinking about how can they get there in 12 games rather than the 15 that they're marking it for. So without further ado, let me introduce you to this season's Lock of the Century. This is Kenneth Walker. Kansas City Chiefs just made him the 6th highest paid running back in the league, which is monumental because Andy Reid has a long history of never paying running backs. He also doesn't even draft him in the first round, as he's only done so once in the last 27 years. And the only people behind him are Amari DiRicciardo, who has about 120 carries his last 3 seasons, Emmett Johnson, who's a pass-catching running back, and Rashard Smith, who's a special team. Now, knowing all this, I want you to close your eyes and imagine what would his total rushing yards this season be. Kenneth Walker, who doesn't catch many passes, getting paid the 6th most dollars by a coach who doesn't value running backs all that much. I'd say a pretty safe floor is about 15 attempts per game. Even if we were safely to project him for only 4 yards per carry, which is 0.3 yards than he's averaged for his career, that still would come out to about 60 yards per game. And since we know the books only project players for about 15 games now, what does that come out to? Right in line with what the books are predicting him to do. But this is just for his floor and for only 15 games. What about his ceiling? For that, we go back over to our calculator, and what if we factor him in for 19 carries at, I don't know, let's say 4.5 yards per carry, because hey, now he gets to play with Patrick Mahomes, he's seeing less loaded boxes, and that would equal 85.5 yards per game. Now let's multiply that by 17 games because we're talking about the absolute ceiling here, and we get 1,453 rushing yards. If he does happen to hit his ceiling, we're talking about only 11 games it would take for him to reach over 925 rushing yards. Now you tell me, do you think the Kansas City Chiefs brought him in to only rush for 900 rushing yards?